How much of your mental life, like what you think about, is actually building anything? Because maybe some people are just narrating, not building, narrating, replaying conversations, revisiting decisions, imagining how things might have gone differently, running mental simulations of who we'll be after we finally change. It feels productive, feels like insight. Sometimes it even feels like growth. It isn't. What's actually happening? Thinking about acting and acting both activate overlapping circuitry in the brain. The planning networks light up. The emotional charge is real. The body responds as if something meaningful is occurring, which means sincere, emotionally vivid narration can feel almost identical to forward movement. But it produces no new structure in the world. You can spend an entire afternoon replaying a conversation from 3 years ago, rewriting it, winning it, understanding it differently. Walk away with the sensation that something shifted. Maybe something did shift internally, but your calendar didn't change, your habits didn't change, your environment didn't change. Nothing outside your head moved. That's the trap. Reflection is not the enemy. It's a tool, but tools are meant to be used and put down. There is a point where reflection stops being a visit and becomes a residence. You stop going back to extract information. You move in, and once you're living there, the present feels like an interruption. Call it the narrative loop. The mind keeps returning to the same material, same events, same what-ifs, same imagined futures, slightly recut each time. Each pass feels like refinement, like you're getting closer to clarity, closer to readiness. But readiness built entirely in isolation has a ceiling. And that ceiling is structural, not motivational. It's not that you need to want it more, it's that the loop cannot generate what only contact with reality can provide. Resistance, feedback, consequence, the information that only shows up when something is actually at stake. At some point, readiness only increases through contact with reality. Making the call, starting the work, sending the email, publishing the thing, putting something into the world that wasn't there before. Narration loops back. Building changes constraints. Building commits resources, exposes you to feedback, creates something that can now succeed or fail. And that's exactly why it's uncomfortable. There's a texture difference between real planning and narrative looping. Real planning has friction. It produces specific next steps. It creates vulnerability because something can now actually fail. Narrative looping feels smoother. Nothing is at stake yet. No one can see it. Still internal, still safe. I think when we stop and look at this, we notice something. The story you're narrating is almost always about a future version of you. The you after the breakthrough. The you who finally figured it out. The you who processed everything and came out clean on the other side. And while you're describing that person in detail, the present version of you is stationary, not becoming, just explaining. There's a quiet cost to that. Time spent narrating a future self is time the current self isn't acting, and the gap between who you describe and who you are does not close through better description. It closes through behavior. You already know what the next move is. You've described it enough times to prove that. The question was never understanding. The question is whether you're going to keep explaining yourself to yourself, or finally do something the explanation can't do for you.